a silent planet. The archive hall of Sorinth Prime was never meant to be exciting. Tucked beneath layers of bureaucracy and forgotten code, it was a place where ancient treaties, census records, and censored logs gathered dust in digital purgatory. For Vexery, a junior analyst in the Council's Department of Historical Continuity, it was exactly the kind of place where secrets went to die. Until today, Vexery's four-fingered hands hovered over the console, his crest twitching in anticipation. He hadn't meant to find it. At least, that's what he'd tell his superiors. He was running a routine integrity check when the anomaly appeared. A redacted star system, its file buried under outdated encryption. Designation: Sol 3. Planet class: M. Status: obscured by Council Directive Theta 7. No ambassadorial history. No trade. No open travel. Just one chilling note in the metadata. First contact terminated. System sealed. Why would they seal an entire system? Vexery whispered. His voice echoed in the chamber of empty terminals. With cautious fingers, he bypassed the Council's obsolete firewall layers and pulled up archive footage. A scout ship, Council Mark 7, long since decommissioned, hovered above a blue-green planet. Earth. The transmission was grainy, but the final moments were crystal clear. Initiating diplomatic sequence. Responding to broadcast frequencies. Wait, they're launching projectiles? Kinetic? No. Smart munitions. Static? Hull breach. They're adapting faster than expected. They're not primitives, they're learning. Final burst of static, then silence. The lone escape pod's AI had barely made it back to galactic space. Its logs suggested a species capable of rapid technological evolution. A species whose aggression was matched only by ingenuity. The Council had sealed the file, redacted every mention, and voted unanimously. Earth must remain hidden. But now Vexery knew, and in his arrogance, or perhaps curiosity, he sent a single encrypted data drop into the galactic datasphere. Not to the media, not to the military, just to a private, decentralized network used by data traders and fringe explorers. It took only 9 minutes for the coordinates of Earth to trend on 6 pirate forums, 2 exo-academic sites, and a notorious black market expedition guild. By the time Vexery was dragged from the archive hall by Council enforcers, it was already too late. Earth, present day. The skies above Earth shimmered with the artificial auroras of orbital satellites. Humanity had changed since the 21st century, nearly destroyed itself with war, pollution, and division, but had emerged united under necessity. Climate collapse, asteroid near misses, and AI outgrowth had forced global cooperation. They had solved fusion, colonized Mars, and perfected quantum communication. They knew they weren't alone. Radio anomalies and unmanned probes had told them that long ago. What they didn't expect was for the galaxy to finally notice them. High above Earth, the Sentinel, a distributed defense AI network, detected the first warp signature. Then, 3 more. Unidentified ships exited hyperspace in lunar orbit. One was a scientific vessel, another a scavenger rig. The other 2 bore privateer markings. Earth's response was calm, deliberate. From orbital rings and polar command centers, a message was broadcast in over 300 alien dialects, spliced together from decades of intercepted signals and painstakingly decrypted language patterns. This is Earth, Sovereign System Sol 3. State your intent. Any hostile act will be met with defense. We see you now. The scavenger rig didn't respond. It descended toward Earth's atmosphere, either dismissing the warning or misunderstanding it. At 120 kilometers above sea level, it was intercepted by a swarm of hypersonic drones. No missiles, no explosion, just precise, coordinated EMP strikes followed by grappling units that locked the vessel in orbit. Captured. Intact. The footage was streamed live to every digital channel on Earth, and, thanks to the data leak, across parts of the galaxy. Council Core World, emergency session. Council Elder Vernick clicked his mandibles in alarm. The footage played again on the holoscreen in front of the assembly. Human technology, human defense protocols, human speech. We concealed them for their own good, Vernick hissed. They were unstable, dangerous. They still are, murmured another elder, eyes fixed on the screen. But now they're not alone in the dark. First contact protocol, again. Orbiting above Earth, the alien ships formed an uneasy constellation. 4 vessels hovered in geostationary positions. A research cruiser from the Corellan Science Enclave, a luxury explorer yacht from the Zav Consortium, and 2 smaller privateer crafts of dubious registry. None expected resistance from a supposedly pre-fold world. But Earth wasn't what they'd been told. A booming transmission in flawless galactic standard repeated itself across every known frequency. This is Earth, Sovereign System Sol 3. State your intent. Any hostile act will be met with defense. We see you now. The broadcast wasn't just audible. It came with visual data packets, multilingual subtitles, and a brief but unmistakable demonstration of orbital power. The captured scavenger ship, now tethered by robotic drones, neutralized without a single shot fired. The message was clear. Earth didn't want war, but it wasn't afraid of one either. Aboard the Zav Consortium vessel, Golden Veil, Sovari Antel, captain and interstellar broker, sipped her nutrient elixir slowly, her compound eyes narrowing at the human broadcast. They weren't supposed to be this coordinated. Her aide, a jittery Varnak, offered a weak smile. Galactic records mark them as low-tier tech primitives. This is advanced, organized, threatening. Sovari's long fingers tapped the console. She opened a live channel and addressed Earth. This is Captain Sovari Antel of the Golden Veil, here on a peaceful mission of contact and potential trade, requesting permission to enter low orbit. The reply came instantly. Request acknowledged. Hold position. A liaison ship will meet you in 20 minutes. Do not descend below 150 kilometers. It wasn't a threat. It was a protocol. A first contact protocol. One far more professional than Sovari had expected from a race supposedly erased from star charts. Lunar orbit. A mistake made. The second privateer ship, Black Tyne, either didn't get the memo or chose to ignore it. Captain Drex, a Trellic mercenary with a record longer than a gravity tether, scoffed at the human warning. They're bluffing, he growled to his crew. Any real power would have blasted us already. Without clearance, the Black Tyne began atmospheric entry. It didn't get far. Within seconds, a network of orbital drones lit up. Not with missiles, but with something worse, precision disruption beams. The ship's engines died mid-descent. Backup systems were fried. Communications jammed. The Black Tyne plummeted into the upper atmosphere, spiraling. Before it could burn up, a coordinated net of drones intercepted it, slowing its fall and dragging it into a controlled orbit. Another non-lethal takedown. Live feeds from Earth satellites streamed the entire operation, and the galaxy watched. Earth's control center, Geneva Arcology. Beneath the glass and steel canopy of Geneva's central arcology, President Lena Voss reviewed the data on a transparent holo-display. Human military leaders, scientists, and AI representatives surrounded her. They're testing us, she said calmly. Probing our limits. Their mistake, said Commander Rajan Patel. They still think we're behind. We've never been behind, Lena corrected. Just quiet. The Sentinel AI pulsed with a voice projected across the room. Based on current telemetry, 23 systems have already picked up the orbital encounter. We estimate over 1 billion beings across 4 sectors now know Earth is active. So much for hiding, murmured Patel. Lena smiled faintly. Let them come, but on our terms. Council Deep Space Dispatch. By the time the Galactic Council assembled an emergency diplomatic response, the damage was irreversible. The footage from Earth had been replicated, remixed, and redistributed across pirate networks, social circles, and official planetary feeds. Earth was trending on the Galactic InfoWeb under the tag #SoulAwakens. The Council dispatched an envoy fleet to Earth. Not a war armada. At least, not yet, but a diplomatic corps reinforced with security escorts and scientific advisors. Their task: assess humanity's threat level, determine their intentions, and try to regain control of the narrative. As their ships warped into soul space, they were met, not with fear, but with a calculated greeting. Earth's flagship cruiser, Unity 1, emerged from the shadow of Mars, flanked by autonomous drone wings and bearing no weapons outwardly displayed. Its transmission was short. Galactic Council vessel, this is Earth. You are entering monitored space. Welcome. We've been expecting you. The war Earth never wanted had just been averted. But the game had only just begun. Humanity's offer. The Galactic Council's envoy ship, Triumph Veritas, entered low Earth orbit under escort. No weapons were drawn, but every member of the delegation felt the weight of invisible eyes on them. Earth's orbital network was vast, dense, and silent, just like its species. From above, the planet shimmered with coordinated light. Nighttime continents were aglow with efficient, patterned illumination. Every city bore the mark of deliberate design. Post-scarcity elegance fused with raw functionality. Earth was not only active, it was thriving. Geneva, Earth's capital arcology. The Council delegation arrived at Geneva via Magrail shuttle, gliding silently into the towering crystalline spire of Unity Hall. They were met by Earth's leadership, President Lena Voss, her chief AI liaison S1NT 4X, and a select circle of scientists, diplomats, and linguists. The Council's chief ambassador, Elder Travax of the Seraphin Collective, bowed stiffly. President Voss, on behalf of the Galactic Council, we offer greetings, context, and a path to reparation. Lena responded with a nod and a handshake, an ancient Earth custom that the delegation had prepared for. Greetings accepted. But let's skip to the context. The room quieted. Behind Lena, massive translucent panels displayed Earth's history in a rapid visual sequence. Wars, climate collapse, space colonization, technological leaps, and finally, unity. We intercepted your signals over a century ago, Lena said. We didn't answer. We listened. We watched. You were not ready, Travax said cautiously. Our decision to conceal Earth was based on fear, Lena interrupted. Let's call it what it was. S1NT 4X flickered into full projection. Council Directive Theta 7 was based on your encounter with one rogue scout ship. You misjudged us, then erased us. That choice has consequences. The ambassador paused, adjusting the translator node beneath his neck. What is it you want, President Voss? The offer. Lena stepped forward. We want what every species in your council once demanded. Recognition, representation, and equal footing. Earth demands a seat at the table. Murmurs erupted among the council aides. One of them, a Zalthari named Vinik, clicked his mandibles. And if we deny it, Lena's tone didn't change. Then we will proceed without your blessing. Trade has already begun. Dozens of independent galactic networks have contacted us. We've shared tech, culture, and even music. We're already part of the galactic community. She gestured, and the displays shifted. Alien worlds playing human music. Trade channels opened via quantum entanglement. Images of human engineers working alongside alien traders on orbital platforms. You tried to erase us, but you underestimated what we do best, she continued. We adapt. We survive. And when pushed, we lead. The ambassador studied her for a long moment. You threaten us with soft power. Lena smiled. We don't need to threaten. We only need to be seen. Behind closed doors. Later that night, in a sealed chamber, the council delegates debated furiously via secure link to the core worlds. She's dangerous, growled one delegate. This entire species is a wildfire waiting to ignite. Or a catalyst, said another. Do you see what they've accomplished in a century without us? No help, no allies, pure innovation. They have no control. They're emotionally unstable, aggressive, chaotic. Exactly, said Elder Travax. And yet, they unified. They learned our language. They built a civilization from ruin. Imagine what they'll do now that they know they're not alone. Humanity's power isn't in weapons. The next morning, the delegation returned to Unity Hall. This time, the displays showed something different, Earth's cultural exports. A Varnithi monk wept watching an old Earth film, Spirited Away. A Zentari war singer had already adapted human blues into his tribe's rituals. Children on a distant mining colony were practicing chess tournaments. It wasn't fusion drives or antimatter cores that made Earth powerful. It was stories, ideas, emotion, and it was spreading fast. The council must choose. As the meeting adjourned, Lena gave them one final offer. You may let us in willingly. You may resist and be left behind. But Earth is no longer hiding. We are not a secret, and we will not ask twice. Travax inclined his head, the burden of a civilization's fear etched into his scales. Then it seems the council has a choice to make. The species that watches back. For the first time in council history, the vote was split. The emergency session, convened across 5 core worlds and 12 deep space nodes, had one purpose: to determine Earth status. Should the Sol system be integrated, observed, or isolated again, this time by force? The Council's communications core flickered with the faces of species spanning 5 evolutionary spectrums. All of them watched, quietly shaken by the implications. Earth had not merely revealed itself. It had become undeniable. Inside Earth's quantum relay hub, Boreal Command, Canada, beneath the Arctic ice, in a facility grown from carbon lattice and adaptive alloy, humanity watched back. President Lena Voss stood before a translucent orb suspended in magnetic fields. Inside pulsed the Council's diplomatic signal, encrypted, firewalled, but not unreachable. Earth's AI web had already parsed half the Council's deliberations in real time. Lena turned to S1NT 4X. Any military posturing? None yet, the AI replied. But 5 Council-line fleets have moved into systems bordering Sol space. Reconnaissance drones are testing our jamming grids. And our response? Calm, consistent, boring even. Lena smirked. Good. Let them wonder if we're hiding something worse. Council Deliberation Chamber. Virtual session. Elder Travax stood to speak. His voice was soft, measured. We sealed Earth away not because they were weak, but because they were unpredictable. He tapped the data feed. Yet in 1 century, they turned ruin into renewal. They've conquered their own nature. Unified. Innovated. Another delegate, a hardened general from the Corval sector, snarled. They took down a ship with drones and didn't even flinch. If they're already this advanced, what happens when they scale up? Travax countered. And what if they lead us somewhere better? We've stagnated. Our laws are centuries old. Earth presence might rekindle ambition. A third delegate, older than both, interjected. They will change everything. Silence followed, because they all knew it was already happening. Humanity makes its move. On Earth, the Unity 1 flagship entered hyperspace. Not in retreat, but in invitation. Its destination. The neutral zone of the Verdant Reach, where unaffiliated species gathered to trade and negotiate beyond Council control. It arrived with no warships, no fanfare, just one ship, and a message. This is Earth. We come not with conquest, but with conversation. Within a week, 50 species had initiated direct contact. Within 2, Earth's language matrix became a galactic standard for translation AI. Within 3, human-led forums in art, science, and philosophy were being attended by beings older than Earth's pyramids. It was a cultural invasion the Council had no defense against. A decision forced by the people. While the Council argued, the galaxy moved on. Independent systems sent emissaries to Earth. Merchant guilds opened trade with Terran markets. Younglings across the stars wore Earth-made VR bands to study human history. Humanity had gone viral, and Council citizens, long weary of stagnation, began demanding answers. Protests surged on 6 worlds. News feeds questioned the Council's judgment. Why hide a species that could inspire, innovate, and connect? Public pressure mounted. Then came the tipping point. A joint Earth-Varnithi relief mission saved a failing colony in the Gloran Drift, using human-built nano-terraformers that restored an atmosphere in 3 days. Live. Broadcast everywhere. The message couldn't be clearer. Earth wasn't just joining the galaxy. It was improving it. The vote. The final council vote came 14 standard cycles later. Out of 512 delegates, 391 voted in favor of Earth's admission, not as an observer, not as a probationary partner, but as a full-member species. The seal was broken. The shadow over Earth lifted. Epilogue, 10 years later. The Galactic Council had changed. So had Earth. Humans now walked among stars once sealed from their gaze. They taught. They learned. They debated, clashed, and inspired. Their music filled foreign halls. Their food became fashionable. Their ideas contagious. But perhaps the greatest shift was not in tech or trade, but in mentality. Once ignored, once hidden, now humanity sat at the table, not as conquerors, not as monsters from old scout reports, but as the species that had been underestimated. Earth had not come to destroy the galaxy. It had come to challenge it, to wake it up,